Hi. So here I am again, the man without a mask. And today we're going to start a new unit and we're going to move from astronomy to chemistry. And when we talk about chemistry, which is a physical science, we're always going to start with atoms. And understanding what atoms are isn't easy because you can't see an atom. An atom is the smallest part of matter, and matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. For instance, like this large hunk of cheese. Now, this large hunk of cheese, if I cut it in half, like this, then I have half a block of cheese. But I could cut this half in half. So I cut this half in half, and now I have another smaller block of cheese. But I could cut this half in half. And when I do that, I end up with even a smaller hunk of cheese. But I could easily cut this half in half. And if I cut this half in half, I end up with even a smaller hunk of cheese. But I could still cut this half in half. And when I do, I have even a smaller hunk of cheese. Now I've got a really small hunk of cheese. But it's pretty big. I can cut this in half. So I cut that in half. And I have even a smaller hunk of cheese, which I can cut in half. You get the point? I can always keep cutting something that's matter in half. And if I keep cutting each half in half, I end up with a smaller and smaller piece of cheese. Well, eventually, if I keep doing this, it has to stop, right? I mean, I can't forever keep cutting something in half. Although, can I? Because if I do, I'll always have a piece of matter. Well, I keep doing this. Now, there was an chemist from a long time ago who decided to keep cutting matter in half until he couldn't cut it anymore. Until what he was left with was something that was so small that it was uncuttable. Now, his theory was that if you cut something so small that you couldn't cut it anymore, that you got down to the very last piece of something that's uncuttable, that would be an atom. What he didn't realize was that when you put it under a microscope, it would appear, and you could cut that half in half. And when you put it under a microscope again, that you could cut that half in half until it got so small you couldn't see it under a microscope. Everything that exists is made up of something so small that you've got to get to the point where it's uncuttable. And that's what an atom is, the smallest piece of matter. We're going to spend the rest of this lesson, the rest of this unit, learning about atoms.